What's going on, traders? Julian here, jlewisTrading.com, doing a quick review on Roku. Talked about this pre-market today. Wasn't looking to trade Roku, but ironically, this thing gave me absolutely no choice but to trade it. Although we talked about it in pre-market, this thing slid pretty hard, and the way that I was positioning into this is I actually got in on its first little micro pullback on this 2-minute chart very, very early on in the session. Now, price action started to pull back right through here. We saw this little bit of a retest. Price action went up slightly, and I simply jumped in right through here when price action broke down. And price action broke down pretty hard. I was getting into these things with at the money weeklies, and I think I was paying like $1.50 on the puts. And I took this down for a lower ride just to here and doubled my cash on Roku. It was a really good trade. Price action did rally. And then I started to look at this level for a secondary trade. Decided to stay out of the trade and watched it again. It broke down, took another quick rip, and then walked away. Came back to the market later on this session, and I noticed that this had slid over 19%. I kicked myself for not sticking around longer, although I trade what's called the golden window. I'm only sitting in front of the markets from 9:30 when the bell rings to 11:30 right before lunch, and that's the area that I always focus on. I'm always / only trading that window of time, hence the name, the golden window. And this was one of those rare situations where I stepped away and came back to see a massive, massive slide on a massive, massive stock. Now, Roku options that I was playing today at $1.50 to the downside using puts, I covered those things around $3, doubling my cash. Okay, towards the end of the market, when I looked at, excuse me, at those same puts, those puts were trading over $13. It was a massive, massive, massive rip. And it's a very, very simple situation where, if you had a $1,000 position on, you would have made 10 grand today. If you had a $10,000 position on, you would have made 100K today in this trade. So Roku, this is one of those bigger trades. Also was a really big slide on an expiration Friday. So with the weeklies that we're trading, so that also made the options that much more volatile. But this was a trade. It was a massive, massive trade. We called this thing out pre-market, and we talked about it in chat this morning. And so a lot of traders were primed up for this. And if you actually go back, if you're part of our trading community, and in the chat room, if you actually go back and look at some of the pieces of conversation that were going back and forth, you could see that some of our members were taking this hard to the bank. And so Roku really paid out. It was an intraday unicorn, if you will. It just absolutely plummeted on the same day that our options were expiring, and it was more than a 10x return for a lot of traders that were getting in early. For me, I like I said, I traded the first little pullback. So there was a price action moved itself to the downside right out of the gate, and the first rally, I should say, not pullback, but the first rally right through here when it stepped down and stepped back up, that became my area to get short this market. And when I did well on it. But had I stuck around, I would have done exponentially better. But again, followed the discipline and traded that golden window. And that was a trade for today on Roku. So I want to report that, put that out there for everybody on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And everybody in the community already knows what I was trading, and I already know what they were trading. And that's what we did. If you have any questions, info@jlewisTrading.com. And that is Roku. And that's how we're going to close out the week. Thanks for watching.